Hello everyone, welcome back to the Learning Lounge with Chuks. Don't worry, I have a very important, interesting topic lined up for us today. The topic says for today's episode is, should exams define a student intelligence? This is a very good topic for today. This is a very good question for today that we should intend to ask ourselves, some of the students and even some parents who kids are still going to school. Should examination determine whether your child is intelligent or not? Just go get your popcorn, pin on your seat, so we'll dive into it. Welcome back to the Learning Lounge with Chuks. So let's dive into today's hot topic that says, should exam define student intelligence? Personally, seriously, now, if you have ever been to school, if you have gone to school, as in, if you have been to school on a general, you know how the stress that comes with exam is. For some people, exam weeks feel like the end of the world to them. But here is the big question now that I want to ask you, I want to get from you. Do those scores actually show how intelligent a student is? Or are they just measuring how well you can memorize or cram and regulate information under pressure? This is some of the big questions that I would love for you to ask yourself. All those scores, all those examination scores, do they really like shows that this student is an intelligent kid or what? Or is it just showing how that child can be able to cope in a stressful environment, or to regulate information under a pressure, or what? These are some of the questions that we tend to have to be asking whereby you see your child not doing good in examination, whereby you see your child not having a great score on his report. Because sometimes those kids are intelligent, but they actually are not intelligent in that academic aspect, in that academic decoration. If you ask me personally, I think examination doesn't, as in, tells us some certain things, give us some certain solution, but not everything. It doesn't give us everything. Sure, exams can show how well you understand the subject at that moment, at that very moment though, but they don't always capture creativity, problem-solving skills, or even emotional intelligence. Let's be real, the kids who is brilliant at fixing gadgets at homes, or coupling some certain machines, or doing some certain handwork very well, because seriously, this nowadays, all these kids that they give birth to are like, all these kids that they give birth to nowadays now are like ancestors. There's some certain things that they do with their hands, they fix with their hands. You will be marveled that, like, where did they get to learn this? Do they actually learn it from school? No. You call that as gift of birth, or there is what that they call as in they came to the world with it, with that gift. That is an inbuilt skill. You see some certain kids who are very good at creating music, but they might not be able to shine in mathematics text. They might not be able to shine in history text. They might not be able to shine in academic categories. But that doesn't still make that kid less intelligent. Not at all. Because for the fact that many successful people nowadays we look up to, like entrepreneurs, inventors, artists, they didn't exactly ace their examination. They didn't even exactly pass their examinations very well. Some of them are very low grade in their examinations, but they had other forms of intelligence that school didn't even always measure up to. Just like I've been saying in some of my videos that schools as they do, as schools should venture into skills and talent acquisitions to be teaching the kids. Because some students who are going to school, they don't do good in academic category. But when you come to that skills and acquisition, those talents, you will see them shining as bright as even the morning rise sun. It's not everybody that tends to have that grace in academic category, in academic aspect. That is why when you are doing academic situation, you should measure it with skills and acquisition so that you will see where this child is perfect in and venture that child into that aspect. A child that is very, very good in skills and acquisition is not an illiterate, even though that he or she is in school. People makes very good living. People earns very well in some skills and acquisition that they learn. I don't know if you saw what I'm saying. Because in so many issues, maybe the real issues is this. Examination measures academic performance, but intelligence is a way bigger than that. It's always like you apply knowledge, adapt to challenges, and think outside the box. Yes. That is what it means by a child venturing into skills and acquisitions. In the bigger aspect of applying knowledge and adapting to each challenges, and then thinking outside the box. So you cannot be able to challenge or define a child intelligence through examination scores. It's not true. That doesn't mean that child is less intelligent. We can't do that. Because so many people who, just like some of our former episodes that we say, many kids have their ways of learning, which is by visual, by kinetic, and by auditory. Those who excel in academic aspects, grace for them. And there are those who excel by visual learning, and those who excel by kinetic learning. What they see, what they feel, and what they tend to like to minimize, to put together in that aspect, in that way, they will always learn this. And it's just like, I won't say in this aspect, let's just bring Bible into this now. Just like when Thomas the doubter said that he is not going to believe that Christ has risen from the dead if he didn't put his hand into that nail hole, and also put his hand by his rib where the arrow was pierced. That when he does that, then he will believe that Christ has risen. Thomas is a doubter because he didn't see it. Until then, when Christ appeared to them, he has to put his hand into that hole and put his hand into that hole rib. Then he now believe and know, yes, that Christ has risen. And that is possible that someone who died can be able to rise again. That category really teach a lot of things and make Thomas believe a lot of things, that there is nothing impossible in this world. That sometimes people can be able to cheat death. That someone can be able to code, as in code flat, and still have a pulse again. That thing really taught Thomas the doubter a lot of things. So that is how you have to put it in this aspect, that all these kids that are not doing good in academic session, all these kids that are not doing good based on their examinations, you cannot ever open your mouth and say that this child is less intelligent than other people, other students. Have you tried him or her in other section? Have you ventured him or her in other section and see how he or she would do there? So I'm going to say that examination doesn't speak it all about intelligence of a student or about intelligence of a child. And you parents should not judge your child intelligence based on their examination score. Okay, welcome back to the Learning Lounge with Chuks. We are still on the big question, on the big topic, which define whether examination should define a child intelligence. Okay, now let's be honest here. I will still be saying it. You do know there is some words that someone used to say to me before. You know, examination is just like a guest at a party, nobody invited, but he or she always tends to show up, right? You will see a child studying all night during examination week. You will see a child that will be stressing up, studying all day, studying all night. After school, he or she will still come back, tend to study for the tomorrow or another examination course or subject. And the parents will actually see that this child is really studying very hard, trying his or her best, burning up as an all-night oil just to make sure that he or she passes his examination, stressing up, sometimes pulling all-nighter, and then boom, you expected to pour out everything within 2 to 3 hours. But at the end of the day, that child will still not make it a good result. That child will still not make a perfect result. Have you tend to ask yourself, what is the reason? Why? What is causing this? Is it that this child is dormant or what? What will tend to study very hard without not passing? The understanding of academic categories are very different based on human intelligence, based on human brain. There are people who tend to adapt quickly to different things in altogether. That is why they say there are intelligence one and there are non-intelligence one. One made them non-intelligent where they are still in the same class, receiving the same lecture, receiving the same teaching, receiving the same lesson with those who you claim are intelligent. You cannot put that all together. You cannot compare their understanding with those ones who you feel like they are intelligent or what. No, they are all intelligent, but they're just that their intelligence are in different categories. Their intelligence are in different species. Yes, let me just put that word. Their intelligence are in different species, in different careers, in different skills, in different learning. Examination mainly tests how good you are at memorization, speed, and staying calm under pressure. That is what examination only mainly tests. You understand? But intelligence is a lot more complex. Think about it. There is creativity, problem solving, emotional intelligence, social skills, innovation, and none of that shows up on a multiple choice paper. That is where intelligence, real intelligence, comes in. If you don't have that great intelligence, you wouldn't know how to tackle with all these problems. You wouldn't know how to solve all these problems. Someone who can be able to solve all these problems, just like I say, I will repeat it again: social skill, innovation, emotional intelligence, and problem solving, and also creativity. Someone who can be able to tackle all this is an intelligent person. Even though him or she is not doing good in academic aspects, that person is really intelligent. It takes a great intelligence, it takes a great mind to be able to deal with all these 4 words that I just mentioned. Let us not degrade some certain kids or use our mouth to pull down emotions for some certain kids whom are struggling in academic category, putting them in that bad feeling, putting them in that bad ways that they are not intelligent. Whereas it's not their fault. Whereas it's not by their doing. Whereas you are pulling them out from where they're supposed to be, where their grace is being lied to, where their grace is being tied to. They are intelligent kids, just that you are not putting them in the right direction. This is just a little piece of my advice and a little piece of my humble self that I have to pour out to some teachers, some parents out there, and even the students. When you see yourself not doing good academically, don't call yourself a dormant and don't see yourself less than other students. No, that doesn't make you less intelligent from them. I won't call myself that. I won't say to myself, or I won't call myself an intelligent boy or intelligent man. No. But I will come here and be giving all this series of advice, not just advice, having all this series of conversation with you all. And from the little one that I learn, sometimes I tend to search from different books, just to make sure that I have something up here that I will say from my own, and also speak out from experience as well. If I can be able to remember some certain things that I passed through secondary school, that I passed through high institution level, and here remembering it, speaking it out, putting it out here, pouring it out here, will I call myself a dormant? Will I say I'm less intelligent? No. Or because I didn't have a scholarship while going to school, that doesn't make me less intelligent. And that is how I want you to see yourself as well. Because tomorrow you might tend to start up a very good YouTube channel that will be helping others, giving others that grace, giving others that emotional support, giving others that encouragement. Just like I'm doing with you people on this conversation lounge. So let's just see ourselves equal and see ourselves that we are in our own indifferent intelligence. Let's just go for a little break. We'll be back soon. Welcome back from our break. We're still in the topic and in the defense that examination doesn't define a student intelligence or a child intelligence. Let's just go into this now. Let's just say that you are kind of a student who can build an app from scratch, an application from scratch, or you have a talent for storytelling, or you are the one everyone runs to when they have problem to solve. Yes, there are kids who are very, very good at solving problems, who can be able to give you advice that when you use it, it will benefit you. An examination might not give you credit for any of all this. App building, solving problems. But those are the signs of intelligence. Just like I said before our break. You can have different things that you can be able to do. You can have different skills that you can be able to do. That shows that you are an intelligent person. Let's just take for instance someone like Albert Einstein. If he was really struggling in a school as a kid. He was really read his biography and you say he was really struggling in school as a kid. Yes. So imagine if he was judged based on his school performance, his examination performance, or his academic category. He will be written off as an average human being, as an average student. But clearly, he wasn't. Or let's just say someone like Steve Jobs. He didn't even finish college. He didn't finish university. But his intelligence in creativity and vision literally changed the world. So here are the things that examination is. Examination measures a type of intelligence, but not the whole pictures there. They can show academic ability, yes, but not resilience or critical thinking in the real world scenarios. Not how to handle people's or challenges outside the world. or outside the classroom. You can't put whereby someone having a great examination performance or a good grade, that the person is more intelligent from someone who doesn't put up a good grade. You can't do that. That doesn't show they are different. That doesn't show that the one who is good in academic is more intelligent. No, I just think the real challenge for school here is to figuring out how do we measure all the different ways a person can be intelligent. Should we use projects? Should we use presentation works? Should we use teamwork challenge? Real work problem solving? Because life isn't about filling out question papers or writing out numbers or shading alphabets. It's about applying what you know in unpredicted situations. That's what it is. So maybe here we should start seeing examination as one tool, not the ultimate judge. A bad grade doesn't mean you are not intelligent. And a good grade doesn't automatically mean you are a genius either. No. But what we do think here is, what we all have to think here is, should examination be the main way we measure students, or should school involve and find better methods in how to align and solve all this? This is a question I want you to ask yourself. Welcome back to the Learning Lounge with Chuks. So what we have now is the big question on our today's topic show. The big question here is this. I want to get your thoughts on today's show. Do you think examinations are fair way to judge a student's intelligence? Or should schools start finding better ways to test students through ability? Please drop your thoughts in the comment section, because this conversation isn't complete without your input. I would love to hear what you think in the comment section. And please, don't forget to do that. Thank you. All right, that is it for me today on the Learning Lounge. Please, 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 don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because we have got plenty more education conversation coming your way. This is Chuks signing off. Stay curious, keep learning, and don't let exam define your worth. Bye. Until next time.